Hey y'all, welcome back. This week we're going to be talking about chapter 12 in your text. Full disclosure, I just recorded this whole video and then realized it wasn't recording. So when I hit stop, it actually started recording. So that was quite the letdown. So I'm going to sit here and repeat myself again. Also, if you can hear music in the background, I apologize for that. I am not in my office today. We're having some stuff done. So I'm borrowing an office. I can't control the music outside, so I apologize for that if you can hear it. Chapter 12 entitled Economic Crimes, Blue Collar, White Collar, and Green Collar. So for the second time for me, I'm going to go through this with you and hit on some highlights. So chapter gets started off talking about a bunch of terms here you're going to need to know. Economic crimes defined as an act committed in violation of the criminal law for the purpose of monetary gain and financial benefits. Talks about three different types of collar crimes. You've got blue collar, white collar, and green collar. Blue collar are kind of our traditional crimes, theft, larceny, things like that, burglary, that we typically think of as, what law enforcement handles and when they fight crime. White collar is going to be crimes from the affluent class of society, basically. These are crimes of business enterprise, such as embezzlement, price fixing, and bribery. Then you've got green collar crimes, or things that affect or damage the environment. So this is going to be like illegal dumping or some type of pollution or something like that. Defines what theft is. It says under English common law, theft is defined as the taking of another person's property without their permission or consent. So you'll need to know that. Edwin Sutherland, in the late 1930s, first criminologist to coin the phrase white collar crime to describe criminal activities of the rich and powerful. Occasional criminals is a term who defines people who do not associate themselves with a criminal life, but if given the opportunity, they're not opposed to committing a criminal act. That's what that boils down to. Then talks about larceny. Defines this as taking for one's own use the property of another by means other than force or threats on the victim, or forcibly breaking into a person's home or workplace. So you got two types of larceny: petty and grand. Petty larceny is going to be a misdemeanor. Grand larceny is a felony. The way you determine which is which is the value amount of what was taken. Okay, so if it's you can take if it's a minor amount, it's going to be petty larceny. If it's some substantial amount, it's going to be grand larceny. You can steal a bunch of cheap things, and the aggregate total can be used against you to build a case for grand larceny. So if you steal, 1,000 things worth $1, you stole $1,000. So that would bump it into grand larceny territory. Next term you need to know is shoplifting, which I'm sure everyone is familiar with. This is the taking of goods from retail stores. Coupled with that is a term called boosters. These are professional shoplifters who steal with the intention of reselling stolen merchandise. So you have people that will do that kind of stuff, out of the trunk of their car or whatever, maybe, or on the black market if they got good connections. Or you have like drug addicts that a lot of times we'll see will go shoplift, take stuff out of the packaging so it doesn't look like it's stolen, and then just go straight to the pawn shop and pawn it. And every time the pawn shop enters its condition as fair, which is just kind of interesting. Burglary is the entering of a home by force, threat, or deception with the intent to commit a crime. Arson is the willful, malicious burning of a home, building, or vehicle. In Mississippi, we have different levels of arson. So you can, burning someone's personal property would be on that list of a lower level of arson. So, you have a couple that gets in a fight and one of them burns the other one's clothes or other possessions in the yard. That would be a certain class of arson. I'd have to look it up. No, it's not something I deal with frequently, but different than burning someone's house down or car or whatever. Then you got the term Ponzi scheme. You'll need to know this. This is a type of white collar fraud. Bernie Madoff and WorldCom was a big one here in Mississippi that made national news 20 years ago or whatever it was. Basically, the premise of a Ponzi scheme is you're taking in investors' money, telling them they're going to get some great return on their investment, and you're using the new people that come in and invest, using that money to pay out your old investors as returns, because their money's actually gone, but you're keeping everything rolling so long as you have new investors coming in giving you money to then give to your old investors while you pocket the rest. So it's inevitable it's going to collapse, but our Social Security system is kind of like that. Then you have insider trading. This is a type of white collar crime. Illegal buying of stock in a company on the basis of information was provided by someone who has a fiduciary interest in the company. So this is what we hear a lot about on the news of politicians who regulate the stock market having interest in the stock market, owning stocks and stuff. So they very frequently buy and sell at very key times, depending on when different regulatory legislation drops, which is, I don't know how anybody thinks this is legal. or should be legal, but you know, they act like there's nothing wrong with it. But you know, rules for thee, not for me, kind of thing, I guess. But there's several politicians that are making an effort to pass laws that ban politicians from owning stocks. I think that is a brilliant idea, but I doubt it will ever pass because so many do and exploit the system. Next term is exploitation. This is forcing victims to pay for services or contracts to which they have a clear right. So this is a type of blackmail. Basically, you're just intercepting something they have a right to and then forcing them to have access to it. And then the rest of the chapter deals with, talks about like employee fraud and embezzlement, client fraud. Then it gets into, mentions the Sherman Antitrust Act. This is just trying to break up how much power individual companies have over one particular market. Then it talks about kind of wraps up talking about green collar crimes. You've got illegal logging, illegal wildlife exporting. This would be, you know, buying a tiger that you're not allowed to have. Illegal fishing. This would be not buying a fishing license to go to the lake. This is like charter fishing, taking in, you know, huge catches of fish unregulated, maybe hurting the population of particular fish in the process. Illegal dumping and polluting, which is always an issue. And yeah, it kind of wraps up talking about all that. So read through there, pay attention to that, and I'll catch y'all next time for the second time.